Welcome. Happy New Year's, everybody. This is Tom.
Mike.
AM.
In the PM.
We're right here at A2DRadio.com. Tom Arnaud, Michael Mataraki, Sean Redden, Rob Povey on the ones and twos. We are brought to you every Wednesday night by Gibson Mayer LLC, our certified public accountant. Make them yours. Find them on the web, GibsonMayer.com. A lot to talk about tonight, boys. We are live from the BMW Atlantic City studios as well. We're off exit 37 of the Parkway. Find them online, BMWAtlanticCity.com. And it's a heavy load of Eagles talk tonight. If we have time, we'll get into some national, maybe some playoff picks if we have time, or maybe we save it. We'll decide. We'll probably get into it because we sort of have to. We're forced to. We're obligated to. It's almost in our contracts too. I mean, who would we be as analysts to not dive into the playoffs?
I'm not obligated to nothing.
I feel like I'm obligated to the people to at least give them a prediction. Something to put some fuzzles on, right? I mean, a little something.
We give some predictions, but let's be real. This is the weekend that's a joke. Next weekend is the real deal.
Yeah, that's true. So, getting on later in the show, we'll talk about Hollis Thompson, the first piece of the process that was here. He is now gone. So the guy who started it is no longer here.
What did we read a couple minutes ago? Hollis Thompson has also died for our sins.
Yeah, everybody's dying.
Trust the process.
He's going to be in Palo Alto with Hinkie growing a freaking beard and wearing like cargo shorts.
Hey, beards are the in thing right
now. They are. But Hinkie, I think it was 30 for 30 or something on it wasn't 30 for 30, but it was an article of a guy who went out there to meet Hinkie and said that the guy was just a mess. He didn't look, not a mess, but he didn't look anywhere the same. No more suits. It was all casual in a coffee shop, out in Palo Alto with his people. Because that's his people out there.
This next big
thing. Outside the box stinkers, Hinkie like to say. So Hinkie died for his sins, but he's on start another process. And we'll talk about maybe Tim Hardaway Jr. Being on this basketball team. No, we didn't have him already. That was Big Dog the 28th, just to confirm that. Nova loses to Butler, 66-58. I mean, you're ranked 18th in the country. Them things happen. It's not an unranked team. You can mulligan that one to me. Losses are going to happen.
They're not going to drop out of the top 5. They may not even drop out of the top 2.
No, probably not. Howie Roseman gave a little front office speak today, and you boys can dive into that because you know where I stand. I don't listen. I don't watch. I'll read what you said maybe if it pops on my feed. But overall, I don't give a shit because it's, again, front office speak. So
I'll give you a little sneak preview on that. He talked for 30 minutes and didn't say a goddamn thing. That's just how it is.
They never do. They talk in fucking circles to you. It's disgusting. It really is. Holiday wish for all the 4 major sports here.
We're still feeling a little festive here, huh?
A little bit. Happy holidays, everybody. Boys, gentlemen.
Same
I'm sure you guys had a good one. We don't need to do that. Nobody really gives a shit that's listening right now if we had good holidays. They're worried if they did themselves. We hope you did. Maybe we don't. But
hey, all I'm going to say is 42 days until pitchers and catchers.
Listen, it's coming.
Bottom line.
It's coming up, and there's excitement because a little conversation of a slugger, 3D bats, little Jose Bautista.
Could be.
Possibly, because the Phils have a ton of money to spend, so why not spend it on a guy who can hit 55 at the bank, right? I mean, a guy who could just flat out crush it.
Little elevate and celebrate.
We talked a little elevate and celebrate before the show, Michael, didn't we?
A little bit.
So we'll get into as well things moving forward for the Eagles. Personnel changes on the field, coaching staff, front office. We'll talk about what are we most looking forward to moving forward with the Eagles. Break down a little bit of the end of 2016 here in the season with big wins over the Giants, which was a real big win.
That was their Super Bowl.
Yeah, in terms of trying to grow for next year. And the Cowboys, I mean, anytime you beat them, if they didn't play their starters or not, it always feels good. And it's a good way to go in to next year, 2 divisional wins. But bigger than that, the Real Sports Talk Group, okay, brought to you by, powered by A2D Radio, doesn't have to change the logo, Mr. Redden. It stays. Dallas sucks, stays. And we're happy about that. So we'll get into that. But our poll question, brought to you by Scanzano Sports. Find them on the web, scanzanosports.com. Which Eagles assistant coach is most likely to land a head coaching job this offseason? Offensive coordinator Frank Wright, defense coordinator Jim Schwartz, special teams Flip, and
Dave Phipp.
Dave Phipp.
That's my guy right there.
Sorry with the F. I put it in bold. QB coordinator
John D. Filippo.
So I'll let you boys start that off.
You got it.
Does any of them go? I mean, really, do any of them go? And if there is one to go, which one do you think it is?
I mean, right now it's looking like Frank Reich is right in the running for that Buffalo Bills job. We all know he's beloved in Buffalo for what he did there back in the day. And I kind of want to see that happen because one guy on this coaching staff that I don't want to lose is DeFilippo. And I think if Frank Reich leaves, I think DeFilippo goes right into the offensive coordinator's role. And I think that's the guy that should be in charge of grooming Wentz. That's the one guy, and I think if he's not promoted within this organization, he's going to be an OC somewhere else. And that's a guy I don't want to lose. If you're asking me who I would want, I want to see Frank Reich go. And right now it's looking like he's the one that's going to be out the door as a head coaching job, but DeFilippo might be a coordinator somewhere.
Well, you're already hearing whispers, too. DeFilippo might just jump right over coordinator and get interviews for head coaches spots in a couple places. So...
I don't know.
To me, I would actually say Dave Phipp, and I think for a couple reasons. Number one, if you look at the Eagles' special teams, I mean, they've ranked top 5 in special teams now for 3-4 years in a row. John Harbaugh kind of broke that mold of, can a special teams coordinator become a head coach? And obviously, the answer is yes. There's not even a question about that now. But like when I look at Frank Reich. Yes, Sean, you're absolutely right. He's beloved in Buffalo. He's got a history there. But when you're a 7-9 football team and not an especially good offensive 7-9 football team, like how does Buffalo sell that they're good?
Because their fans are hammered before they even come in.
Well,
yeah. It's an easy sell.
All right, it's an easy sell.
And his name's gonna ring bells from back in the day.
Yeah, right, but I mean,
they're all just gonna hold up their beer.
All right, so all things being equal, let's just say in a vacuum, how the hell do you sell the offensive coordinator of a 7-9 football team that wasn't an especially good 7-9 football team who didn't call the plays, which that leads into a whole nother Doug Peterson conversation that we'll get to, but
once you take him, you don't give it up.
Right. I mean, and what's crazy about this though is that we talked about this 10 weeks ago, and we were certain it was going to be Jim Schwartz, and now Schwartz isn't on anybody's radar. I mean, it's pretty indicative of what happened to this season, to be honest with you.
Well, let me give you 3 C's: consistency, camaraderie, culture. So when I look at them 3 C's,
or you could just give me consistency.
And what worries me, and I think Howie Roseman, front office speak or not, that you might have to pay a little more to keep these guys, because at the end of the day, if you're talking about building something, which this football team's talking about from the top now all the way through, we're trying to build something. If you're trying to build something, you need some of these coordinators to stay here, especially if you're bringing in young talent, because you want these guys to be here for 3-4 years. Or at least guys behind them groomed enough so that it's not a big change. If a guy leaves, another guy can come in. Now, for Frank Reich, I don't want him to go just because I think he does wonders for Carson Wentz. DeFilippo, same thing. I mean, Carson and DeFilippo, if you look back, if you listen to their conversation on draft day, that's a bromance, babe. I mean, that's bigger than Trout and Wentz. I mean, if Trout's got a house, we know Trout lives in Millville, but Wentz now lives down in that area as well. On a lot of acres.
Oh, they're hunting buddies.
Yeah, so my point
Wentz,
is...
I will say this, though. I found this little tidbit out last week. Carson Wentz driveway to my driveway, 8 minutes.
Go say hello.
Yeah, I waited on his real estate agent last week. I got the ins and outs.
Nice.
He's got a home gym in his basement, all that.
Just keep giving the real estate agent more alcohol and the more comes out.
Stalker!
So I thought that, so when I'm talking about, DeFilippo, too, you talk about a bromance and a guy that they can relate to each other from the day they met. They seem to hit it off. I can't have him walk that. That's actually the one guy, as much as Frank Reich probably is the guy you don't want to see go, that's the guy I don't want to see go, because that's your quarterback coach. That's the guy who's in his ear. That's the guy who's more in his ear than Frank Reich or Doug Peterson. I mean, go to a meeting, watch a meeting, how meeting rooms go. With the individual, it's quarterback, coach, individual meetings with the quarterbacks. It's not, then you have your offensive meetings, and it breaks down for people who don't understand that. You have your whole offensive team meetings, receivers by themselves, so that it breaks down like that.
Well, let me pose a question to you guys real quick.
Look at Jim Schwartz not even mentioned, besides you talking about
it. Right, but I'm gonna come to that though. Like,
see, Jim.
When you
Should play Marcus Smith from the beginning.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing. Like, I mean, I don't think Schwartz gets fired. I don't think there's any reason.
I was gonna say people were talking. I seen that on Twitter a couple of times. Oh, we should let Schwartz go. Gus Bradley's available now.
Stop.
Here we go. But
what I was going to ask you guys is, I mean,
it's still the 3 C's though, so no, I don't want him to go.
And being realistic, is there anybody on this coaching staff that you feel realistically just glaringly needs to go?
Not right now, no.
No, I mean, and you get these people.
I need to see it.
Right, and you get these people talking about, Greg Lewis sucked as a wide receiver. How can he coach our, how can he be our wide receivers coach? Well, what are you going to do? Bring in Jerry freaking Rice? Guys that were that good?
T.O., player coach.
No, I mean, it's funny. It's funny to laugh at. I'm not goofing on you, but it's like one of those things where guys that were that good don't coach. It's very, very few all pros and Hall of Famers ever get into coaching.
It's hard.
But it's always guys that played with them that do
Grinders.
get into it. Grinders.
That's
Like
exactly
Tom
what I
Woods,
got in this
Tom
conversation with my
Grinder.
friend a couple weeks ago. We were talking about, he was like, how come they don't, why aren't big name guys coaches anymore? Because
I want winners.
Typically the guys that know how to coach are the guys that had to work the hardest for it. They know the ins and outs, the tidbits, and what to do to better yourself.
Look at Mike Singletary, who was probably the last big name besides Harbaugh, right? It was Singletary, Harbaugh were the last, but Harbaugh wasn't great, but Singletary was.
But Harbaugh wasn't a great player.
He was a grinder.
Right.
Now, Singletary was the last Hall of Fame great player to coach, I think, in the NFL, I believe.
Yeah.
So you saw how that worked out in San Francisco.
Yeah, they expect people to be as gifted as they are.
Yes, or as much of a – he was a worker. And you got to keep in mind on a 53-man roster, not every guy is going to go about that process the same. And that's sometimes hard to relate.
Well,
the different things. If it comes natural to you or if you're a worker. Now, if it comes natural to you, like most great players, then it's hard to translate the guys who are average players.
In your opinion, who's the best coach in the NFL?
Belichick.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Andy.
But
Belichick.
Belichick.
Not maybe Andy. I mean, Andy's probably second.
You ever hear anything about Belichick's playing career? No. I mean, you don't. You just don't. I mean, and even dial it back to, dial it back.
You said right now, and I was thinking this season. That's why I went with Andy.
Well,
sorry,
but even that, I mean,
false alarm.
Andy never played above college.
No.
But I mean, and even you dial it back to the city. You look at like Jim Johnson, who might be one of the most beloved coaches ever in the history of the organization. Never heard anything about him as a player. I mean, Gruden, no. Pete Carroll, no. Ditka, sure. Singletary, sure. Harbaugh, yeah, you knew he was a player, but, whatever. Like, it's, all pro players, Hall of Fame players, don't become great coaches. They might be good coaches. They might be on a staff somewhere. Like, Wilbert Montgomery's Andy's running backs coach in Kansas City. He's not an offensive coordinator. He's not a head coach. Tony Dungy, good coach, not great. Herman Edwards, good coach, not great. I mean, so for all these people that are bashing the guys on the Eagles coaching staff because none of them were all pros, none of them were great players, they're smart guys. They know the game. Like you guys were saying, they're grinders. If they want to build off of this thing, they got to have that, like you were talking about, Tommy, the consistency. That coaching staff has to stay intact.
I completely agree.
It's like you've got your coaching staff, you've got your scouting department, you've got your quarterback. We'll give you a mulligan for last year, but this is it right now. This is like day one, today. And what they do, they went out and signed Rasheed Bailey. Woo! So the original Paul Turner is back with the current Paul Turner. Whoop-de-fucking-do.
That makes for a real exciting wide receiver corps.
Oh, yeah. Although, clearly, that's not going to be the starting wide receiver corps next year, but you never know. But I mean, to me, it's funny because during the season, and Sean, chime in on this any minute because I know you got a lot of thoughts on this. During the season, I really try to stay positive. And I really try to look at it as...
Who the hell are you telling that to?
Well, I know. But it's like, but it's one of those things where I really try to look at it as, they lost, 9 games, and 6 of the 9 games were by less than a touchdown. 3 of
like
the games,
the Giants a year ago.
3 of the games were by less than a field goal. Like, I try to look at, the bright side of things. Obviously, there's holes, and there's holes. The Lane Johnson suspension, I mean, I was on social media on New Year's Day, and I blasted him because, you look at what they did against the Giants. They ran 5 out of the first 7 plays were running plays right off of right tackle, and they marched right down the field and scored.
Bigger than that, Mike, is you look at Carson Wentz in the pocket.
Absolutely.
With Lane Johnson there or without Lane Johnson there.
Right.
And it's night and day.
But
that was the season.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
No, agreed.
Maybe a good thing, though.
Right, but here's the thing.
Maybe a good thing.
It may be a good thing. But at the end of the day, 7-9 football team is still a 7-9 football team.
Because the playoff team's harder to cut the fat than a non-playoff
Exactly.
team.
And a good team overcomes a 10-game suspension. They win the 1-point games. A good team, that record is 9-7 or 10-6, not 7-9.
Well, Lane Johnson being healthy and Malcolm Jenkins, who we'll get into in a second, staying at the natural safety position, you see the difference. Okay, now you see the Giants game and the win there and how we played defensively. Now, the Giants' offense we know has struggled, but we still put a great defensive effort up. And you look at how Malcolm played in that football game at the safety position, something we talked about all year. Now, did Jim finally get it right and say, hey, guess what? I'm putting him there. I'm not even going to play it anymore. Yeah, finally. Took a lot of us yelling and screaming about it for him to finally go back to the safety spot and then made plays back there, right? The last play of the game against Eli, he baited an all-pro into a bad throw. And that's what we talked about. Because now Rodney McLeod looked better, with Malcolm back there. Everything on that defense looked better. And so
I just wanted to show you guys something. I don't know how you guys are with Pro Football Focus, but they released their end-of-the-year stats today.
I'm a big guy. I like him.
And this is telling of what happened moving Malcolm Jenkins out of the safety spot and the fact that we need immediate upgrades at corner.
Be careful, because I could just put the headset down. Hold on. I could put the headset down and never do radio again because I was that fucking spot on. Go ahead. Time's yours.
They put out a thing. The Broncos giving up the most yards under 10 yards. Broncos, Steelers, Titans. Most yards, medium range. Texans, Falcons, Colts. 20 yards or more. Mm-hmm. The team that has given up the most. And then when I tell you them 3, that's right side of the field, middle of the field, left side of the field. 20 yards or more passes. Packers has gave up the most during the middle, 493 yards. Eagles gave up the most to the left side of the field with 518 yards. And who gave up the most on the right side of the field? The Eagles again, 506 yards. They led both outside spots giving up yardage beyond 20 yards.
Okay.
Passes.
Yes. So did they have it a different number or anything with Malcolm playing?
No, they just put it up. But I think that's telling that the corners are getting beat, and instead of having Jenkins over there, you have Jalen Watkins and guys like that.
I mean, that hurts McLeod.
Because if it was shorter, I would put it all on the corners. But the fact that it's deep throws, it tells me that it's the safety.
If it was middle of the field, I'd put it more on the middle linebacker.
Right, but here's the thing.
If you're a zone team.
Yeah,
if you're a zone team, I want to put it on the middle linebacker.
That's a very telling stat. The other stat
tell me more because it's freaking been going on for years.
Right, but the other stat that I read the other day that goes along with that is out of 120 corners that they rated, Leotis McKelvin was 109 and Jalen Mills was dead last at 120. But if you look at the stats, Jalen Mills only gave up 1 touchdown this whole year. So are you willing to live with a kid who's going to give up the 10-yard out, 8 out of 10 times, but you're not going to beat him over the top?
Listen, I'll take the kid because he's physical. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, I need the bump. When I'm playing a wide 9, I got to get up and get in people's grills. I need physical cornerbacks because if I don't, what happens is my pass rush is going to take too long to get there. In a wide 9, you got to get that pass rush a second, maybe a half a second longer than a regular pass rush. And that's a lot in the NFL. I mean, we might even talk about less than a half a second. But my point is you need a little physicality out there. You need to be able to come up and bump. And one thing McKelvin, I thought, does okay is when you have him bumping. I don't know. Carroll to me is – and they need to stop contract talks with his agent right now because
first of all, he's a walking pass interference penalty.
Listen, he's a gym rat.
Yeah.
And he's awesome in the gym, and he puts up tons of weight and sets records and does all this stuff. But at the end of the day, that's not translating on the football field.
Well, one of the things Howie
consistently.
Right. One of the things that Howie talked about today was no more Band-Aids. Well, no one carries a Band-Aid. And if you're truly going to go no more Band-Aids, you got to let this guy walk. Bottom line.
Why would you bring him back? When you have
What
Mills,
has he shown?
McKelvin's under contract, and
hopefully you're going to get Brooks back.
Yeah, and then you're going to address it hopefully somewhere in the draft, early-ish on. If a player is good enough to be there that's on your board, and you're going to address it at least in the first 3 rounds. And if not there, you're going to address it somewhere in free agency because there's names out there that maybe aren't Band-Aids or maybe a low risk, high reward.
See, it's funny because I was actually thinking about this.
Or high risk, high reward, actually.
I was,
a guy like Morris Claiborne, like we talked about. The risk of him getting hurt,
right.
but could have a big reward.
You're spot on. I was thinking about this on Monday in terms of skill positions on either side of the ball. I think on the offensive side, you got to go free agent wide receiver, draft a running back. On the defensive side of the ball, you got to draft corners, free agent linebackers. Or linebacker. One, at least.
Yeah, just to be deeper, no question. I actually didn't mind how them 3 played together as the season went on.
Well, I actually
thought Kendricks played a little better. I thought they all played a little better.
I liked the lineup that they ran out there Sunday when they had Tulloch in the middle and Hicks was playing outside. I thought they were phenomenal.
Oh, they are. Well, Jordan Hicks is a stud.
And he cemented himself as the newest Cowboy killer.
Yeah.
Oh, no question.
Sunday.
He is.
Yeah.
And just a flat-out a star in the making at the middle linebacker, which is exciting because where do you win at?
Well,
Right at the middle, but guess what? To our point, you can say right side. We can say right side, left side on the deep balls, but that's essentially still like the deep part, the middle part, which are your safeties and your corners. But you need to be good up the middle. You got great tackle, hopefully.
Well, we talked a few weeks
Hicks
ago
and
that
then Jenkins and McLeod.
Yeah, Eagles are the best team in the NFL in defending the tight end. So you're not getting the deep middle up the seam to the tight end. You're not going to throw on McLeod and Jenkins, so where are you going to go? You're going outside. But, let's also look at who they face this year. I mean, they faced Antonio Bryant, who went nuts on them but didn't score. They faced Dez twice.
Yep. Odell twice.
Deshaun twice.
That whole core twice, because that's a decent receiver core.
Jordy and Devontae.
Yeah, that was fun.
Doug Baldwin.
Julio.
Julio went nuts on him, but didn't score. But what happened?
Gabriel.
They rolled all the coverage over to Julio, and Gabriel beat him deep. So, again, it becomes an issue of, is there an issue? Yeah, there's absolutely an issue. But in this case, do the numbers lie? Yeah, a little bit. Because they're not giving up huge shots for touchdowns on a consistent basis. I mean, obviously, Devontae beat him. Deshaun beat him.
There was a point.
Gabriel beat him.
There was a point where it got a little out of hand, I would say, middle of the season.
But they brought it back.
But then, again, when to what we've been talking about, when Jenkins went back there more consistently, it got better. So, it is what it is there. And hopefully with Brooks coming back and they address their corner issues this offseason, and let's see, Khalid, right?
Khalid, yeah.
Khalid. Sorry, can't even think right now. Desmond King, good name.
Yeah, good name.
Iowa. I mean, he's 5'11".
I got four guys.
It all depends on how early you think he's going to go.
Four guys in the first round that I would be upset if they don't come away with one of them.
One little beggar.
Go ahead.
And I want Mike Williams. That's my number one from Clemson. Don't think he's going to be there when they pick, though.
Me.
2, Dalvin Cook.
That's my guy.
Again, I don't think he's going to be there.
You don't think Cook's going to be there at 14?
I don't know. I think the Colts might jump on him. They need it back. And it's going to come down to that coin toss who gets 14 or 15, Eagles or the Colts.
All right, so keep going.
Then I want 3. I want Sidney Jones, the cornerback out of Washington. That guy I think is a lot. Marcus Peters, same school. Yeah. That's the guy I want.
I don't think Sidney Jones drops that far.
And then 4th, Corey Davis, the wide receiver out of Western Michigan.
See, I'm offensive side of the ball because I'm looking Dalvin Cook, Corey Davis, and if I can't get either of those two, then I'm just going best available.
Yeah, I'm not going to address a wide receiver issue or running back issue by reaching there.
Yeah, you don't.
One guy, if Cook is off the board and say Fournette falls to you, not taking him.
Well, if he falls to 14, there's a reason he fell to 14. Then you just think about, okay, is he still there?
I think Cook's there at 14, guys.
I do too.
I think Cook's the best back in this draft.
No, listen, I think Cook might go down is maybe the best player in this draft if he goes to the right team. Yeah, if he goes to the right spot for him, because that guy played all 4 years there, grinder, right? Never doesn't miss games, and was essentially this year on a, I wouldn't say a good football team, was their horse with a freshman quarterback.
And
he
you
just
saw
did it all.
And you saw what he
the
did.
Backfield, runs hard.
And you saw what he did
Speed.
against one of the premier defenses in the country against Michigan in the bowl game.
Yep. He's a stud. And Mike Williams is a great talent, real good player. The name. I can't say great because the name scares me, because I look back at the old Detroit Lions drafting a receiver out of USC who catches balls like a goddamn Nerf ball, and the guy stunk. Maybe because Joey Harrington stunk.
You mean Nelson Aguilar? Oh, I'm sorry. My bad.
Right.
Victor Martinez chimes in. Tease Tabor. Another good name.
He's going to be gone by 14
Yeah,
now.
but
Well, guess what?
But speaking of Nelson
How about the
Aguilar,
wheeler
though, to
dealer?
Mike's point, you watched the Penn State USC game?
Juju?
Every single one of them receivers look like they're going to be monsters in the NFL, and I want no parts.
None of them.
Nope. No.
Wow.
Even their quarterback, true freshman, I'll pass. Sorry.
Juju can play.
Sorry, Sanchez.
Juju can play.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I want no part of a USC wide receiver.
Scared off by the Trojan.
Scared off. They scared you off. Well, that's that whole, that's a whole freaking program. You know what I mean? You can't trust that program at all. We know this. So, whatever.
It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be names. We'll get into more draft talk as it gets closer, and hopefully do some. Well, our plan is to be down at the draft, broadcasting live from the draft. Let's go. Glad we got back into the first round. We're at 14, and maybe Howie, who I can't stand right now, makes another move because he's the king of the draft moves. Maybe he might even trade out, which I think would be a riot. There's going to be a riot. If he traded out, there's a riot. Dalvin Cook on the board. Howie trades out. We'll burn it down.
Somebody
We're
brought
burn the bitch to the ground, Pookie.
Howie, don't go back to your office because it won't be there.
White Castle, burn that bitch to the ground, Pookie.
Somebody said that, tweeted that the other day. Though. I wish I remembered. I'll pull it up. But it said wherever the Eagles draft spot is, it said they're gonna be picking ahead of that because they have too many bargaining chips going into the draft.
Interesting.
Very interesting. We're going. We're trading over Mariota.
You know what?
Speaking of Mariota, let's just dive right into Mr. Ertz, who is the king of the last game of the season. When this is when it's like the coaches look for the guys who are going to go out and have success, right? Because they're the ones they're going to bring back. Like the guys who season's over, but you're still going at it. That's that son of a bitch. But I think it's a lie. Like he does it every year, so it's a lie, and it forces you, which you're going to bring him back. He's obviously back anyway. But you understand my point? Like he's the kind of guy who's always going to do that at the end of the year and tease us into thinking that next year is going to be his breakout year. Air quotes, when we get back the video, you would see that.
You know why I don't have that thought process anymore? I said that all year long. I'm like, all right, here's Ertz disappear. Call me in December. He'll be back. Consistency. Next year will be the first time in Ertz's career that he is starting on his next season with the quarterback that he had the year before. And I think it might take him a little bit to work up consistency and camaraderie with the quarterback he's playing with.
Listen, Zach Ertz catches the football. At the end of the day, he catches the football. And when he catches the football physically. Yeah. Okay, he might not be the greatest blocker, and he might do some things that we don't like, but at the end of the day, when he goes up for a football, he goes up for it physically. And that's what you look for out of a tight end. Are you physical over the middle? Are you scared to take that pop? And there are things that I've never seen from him. I've always seen him be able to take the hit, not shy away from it catching the football. And that's what you need out of your tight end.
Right. I mean, the thing is,
Travis Kelce's not the greatest blocker.
But no,
solid.
Right.
Solid.
He's a receiver.
Well, so
catch everything.
Is Zach Ertz a little soft? Yeah, he's a little soft. He doesn't like to block.
I don't like the block either.
And you know what? And we lit him up pretty good for pussing out on a block in the Cincinnati game, and that's fine. He deserved that.
I'm lighting lamps there, but yeah.
Yeah, but
that's the thing you dream of.
Yeah, but
I'm taking the $20,000 fine, and we're going chin.
Hey, Vontez.
How are you?
Little chin music. But there's a lot of great tight ends in the history of this league that couldn't block.
Uh-huh.
I mean, and if you can live with your number one pass catching option as a tight end who's really just an oversized wide receiver, because he's a matchup problem.
No question.
You split him out to the wide side of the field by himself, and a team runs an outside linebacker onto him, he's immediately going to beat him. And if they roll the strong safety over, you've just opened up the middle of the field for your wide receivers. He's a slow starter. I mean, if you look at it,
Ryan Howard.
maybe he could be the
We'll
Ryan.
call him the little piece.
It could be a little piece. But I mean, if you look at the season overall,
Julie.
Shit's 2 inches.
when they went to the Giants, I mean, he had a big game against the Giants, and then after that, he wasn't quiet the rest of the season. I mean, he had some games obviously a lot better than others. What he needs to do next year, and Sean, this goes to your point, is with Carson Wentz as his quarterback, he needs to come out of the gate the way he ended this year.
I don't want to see no drop-off, especially what Jordan Matthews talking about. They wants the whole offense to live in a cabin in North Dakota for the off-season together.
I freaking love that. Are you kidding me?
He wants to go. He wants to go throw in the Fargo Dome.
Listen,
All about
we're
it.
gonna. That happens. We're road tripping that. We're gonna go hang out with the boys.
Would you hear Carson?
I'll throw some beers to Nelson. He'll drop them, and we'll just go.
Carson's like, these city guys, I don't know if they want to go to Fargo. I mean, if they want to do it, I can make it happen.
Be bored as hell.
He goes, but what are we going to do? Sit around all day and look at each other? Carson just laid it out there.
Look at
we can only run so many plays.
Carson's like, look, it's just my off season too. I'm gonna try to get it in. I can't have you all up in my house all day.
Well, that's what when Matthews went and him and Ertz went and stayed with Bradford the offseason. Matthews is the funniest guy. You got to add him on Snapchat. Every single night before he went to sleep, he posted like a 10-minute video of him having a conversation with Bradford's Heisman.
Give me the ball, Sammy.
Well, I did.
That all worked out well, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I did.
And that was this all season.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
I
mean, that's exciting. You put all the and that hurts too. Like talking about the 3 C's, right?
Yeah.
You know that hurts too. You spend all this time. You think that's the the guy's going to be your quarterback. You put in the time. You put in the effort. Boom, ship.
I did see
a great move, obviously, but it's funny to me.
I did see
this time. I think it's good though. This time he's going to be here.
Where's he going to go? Yeah.
Well, I did see the one video. It was
how he traded for Watson.
Matthews, Ertz, and Bradford were sitting around watching the bowl games last year. It was like right after the Bird season ended. The three of them are together and they're watching bowl games. And Matthews like
oh yeah, he didn't stop talking the whole time.
Ertz is just tuned out. He's literally just staring a hole in the TV, probably dreaming of his gorgeous fiance, which God bless him. But oh man,
Said he catches everything.
Oh yeah, he does catch everything.
Yeah.
So hey.
So hopefully that's he doesn't catch it.
And then Bradford earned some little credit with me during the videos because you see Ertz just watching, Matthews is just being a clown, just running around the house, and then Bradford just sitting on the couch with a lip in, just spitting into a cup.
Oh, nice, a good solid lip. Good for Sam Bradford. 2 years staying healthy.
And
for the most part,
we don't hate on Sam.
Besides last year, him getting hurt.
Speaking of press conferences, Zimmer came out today and said, day one next year, regardless, Bradford's their starter.
Well, I mean, you can't trust Bridgewater to come back. You just can't.
It's a 2-year injury.
Yeah.
Easily
2-year
injury. Yeah, and that's why I think that's the whole reason they made the trade, because that was a Band-Aid for 2.
Well, I'm not.
That's what it is. It's a Band-Aid for 2.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to gross anybody out, but
that's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen.
When they're talking seriously, I mean, when they're talking like possible amputation, yeah, that's a 2-year injury. Yeah, it's crazy.
Your knees don't go behind your knee.
Yeah,
they don't rotate, babe.
Not like
you know
that.
What I'm saying? And for his sake, thank God, modern medicine is so high tech that you can just swing that knee right on back. Now, are you running a 4.5 with? I don't know. That's up to the doctors there. But that's why Bradford's there to give him that full 2 years. Actually, a little. No, it would be. Yeah, it would be exactly 2 years if he came back the next training camp.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's perfect for their situation. But another guy, the elephant in the room. Because there's an elephant in here, and his name's Lane. Lane Johnson.
I was going to say, you want to take a quick break?
Yeah, let's just break it up.
Get into
He
Lane.
does, so we will too. We will too. This segment right here was brought to you by the Sports Outlet, located in Glendora, New Jersey. Find them on the web, sportsoutletinc.com. Tom and Mike, AM and at PM. We'll be right back. Gibson Mayer, LLC, your certified public accountant. Find them on the web, gibsonmayer.com.
Tax time.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
You're listening to Tom and Mike, AM in the PM, here on A2DRadio.com.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215 369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
Welcome back, Tom.
Mike.
AM.
In the PM.
We're right here at HUDRadio.com. We are live from the BMW of Atlantic City studios. We're right here in Mount Ephraim, New Jersey. BMW of Atlantic City, right off exit 37 of the Parkway. Find them online, BMW of AtlanticCity.com. We're also every Wednesday night brought to you by our certified public accountant, Gibson Mayer LLC. Make them yours. Find them on the web, GibsonMayer.com. Talked a lot of Eagles to start off. We'll continue our Eagles talk. We'll dive into some Sixers conversation a little bit, and as well as we'll go over our wish list for the 4 major teams. So we'll do that throughout the course of the show.
I dig the wish list.
I do dig the wish list. But our poll question, if you just joined us, brought to you by Scanzano Sports, and also you can vote for it on our social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. HUD Radio is where you can find us. Which Eagles assistant coach is most likely to land a head coaching job this offseason? Frank Reich, Jim Schwartz, Dave Flip, Tom DeFlippo. You let us know. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. HUD Radio is where you can find us. Pretty simple. We're going to move on to the elephant in the room. Mr. PED himself. And not many guys can take that home with them. Le'Veon, we know he's a puffer. All right. Odell, obviously, we know he likes his shirt off on boats. And listen, and think, pictures are worth 1,000 words. I always told people when I was getting married, I would hit the gym hard because I knew that picture's worth 1,000 words, right? Shirt off. Forget the blunt in hand. The shirt off. Now, I understand it on a boat, but that's a lot of men on one boat. Where are the ladies? That's a lot of money on that boat. Where are the women?
That's what I was going to say.
Because if I'm on that boat and I got that kind of money, I'm a single man, there's a lot bouncing around on that boat, and it ain't the boat.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. We need to back up the train here.
Sorry.
Because I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not. But here's the thing.
I love that you have the bat in hand, too.
Yeah, because I'm a slinger.
Slugger. No, he's a slugger.
Hey,
It's fair.
Yeah, I got the caress going. It's like 42 days till spring training.
Knob to the ball.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Albert Pujols.
But, so, women weaken legs. They still got to go into the playoffs. So if they're going to get away.
Oh, his legs are already weakened on that boat.
I get it. But what I'm saying is if they're going to get away with going to Miami and hanging with Justin Bieber, which, by the way, every single one of them should have their freaking man card revoked. But if they're going to get away with it, the girls can't be in the picture. They got to be under the cabin. They got to just, you got to keep that on the hush.
Do you?
You do.
See,
so you keep the L on. Hold on. If you're going to keep things on the hush, if we're going to shh, go ahead. I'll save that.
Well, I think I know where you were going with that.
You say it. It's fine.
Don't have a guy holding a blunt in the picture.
And we're going to keep things under the cabin.
Hey,
let's keep the L under the cabin.
The blunt's for recovery purposes. Okay?
Listen, I'm an advocate of these guys being able to smoke. I'm the first guy to see Le'Veon Bell and LeGarrette, no pun intended, blunt, should have never got suspended. I believe that it helps these guys recover, to your point. Concussions, CTE, the whole nine, what it can do for your body. So I'm in agreement there.
Here's what
it's still illegal in the NFL.
Yeah.
Here's what I want to know, though.
They all got tested.
These guys who make millions of dollars, okay, if you're going to rent a private jet and leave from D.C. to go down to Miami, can't you stop at Target, buy a pair of goddamn flip-flops? You're going to be on a boat in your Timberlands.
Skinny jeans, no shirt, and some Timbs.
And some Timbs.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Mike's point, I understand it's valid. You keep the girl underneath. But my opinion of Odell Beckham, and has been this from day one, hey, you said Le'Veon's a puffer. I think Odell's a sucker.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with it.
No, I don't have a
No,
problem.
I think the guy's a good. If you look
I'll
at
take him on my team.
He's a good guy. He's not a bad guy at all. He doesn't do anything off the field bad. He doesn't get in trouble. You know what I mean? He signs. He does things for kids. And listen. And when it comes to that, I don't really. I mean, I crush him because he's on the other team. So I look for any reason. My buddy's a Giants fan. I texted him our social media thing that something's hot on this boat, and it's not the Tim's winter hats. Or whatever the hell else I said. But the point is that he was like, oh, I don't care what he does on the field. And, like, I don't care what his, preference is. And I'm like, well, you're sort of right because if he was on my team, I don't give a shit.
I'll
Like,
walk
because
around.
if he's a friend of mine, I don't care. It's the same
Exactly,
thing. But if
yeah.
you're not a friend of mine,
As long as you catch passes, I'll walk your phone around the city with Grindr open, baby.
whatever
We
you
go-
need. Whatever you need.
I'll tell you what. Eagles sign him as a free agent. I'll drop him off in front of Woody's. I don't care. For real.
I'll
God
be
bless
his
him.
Woody. 6 at midnight for him every night. If they sign him. The things I'm willing to do for this city.
Right.
The things I'm willing to do. I requested my fucking card. Not that anybody did. I'm just clarifying.
Well, you
And I'm not saying I would. I just.
you were a catcher, right?
He was called in the moment.
I never caught. I was an outfielder.
Oh, I don't know
how
about all
are
that.
you? All right,
Good
moving.
Lord, we're just the worst.
Lane Johnson
We are
again,
the
PD.
worst.
We are the worst. We are the worst. That's phenomenal, though. But you got to keep the blunt. You got to hide
Yeah.
that. Let the
Especially
titties
the
roam.
little- the
Let
little-
the titties roam for the people who want. Listen, we're here for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Give us a little something. Okay, you're smoking good. Well, you should have a girl right next to you. She should be holding it, and then the picture should be shot.
But to say nobody would care if she was holding it.
Yeah, where are the girls? That's all I'm saying. I'm gonna take shots at them all day.
What was
But
it
at the end of
an
the day, like we said,
episode of Ballers?
Yeah.
It's incomplete without the girls.
It is. It's fraudulent. You got all that money.
Sean, I know where you're going with that too. That was a little itty bitty roach. Why aren't
Exactly. What are
flicking
you
that?
doing? Flick that. What are you
Right?
doing, Lone?
Yeah,
Right?
We get out of that.
What are you doing?
Got enough money to go buy plenty
Finger
more.
burners.
Oh, Rob Povey on the ones and twos chiming in.
FYI.
How you doing?
Don't even try telling me that shit is like a Black and Mild. Don't you dare try.
But I got miles don't get that short.
Yeah, and if they do, what are you just holding the piece?
Yeah.
Because it's not brown.
Yeah,
it's not
There's a
brown.
plastic tip. You can't even smoke the wood tips.
Listen, if it looks like a rat, smells like a rat, we all know what it is. And that's in terms of the blunt. Now, if you want to talk about his personal thing, the same thing. So it goes both ways.
No, so to say.
Yeah, well, look at this. It all ties in when you get in the conversation. So, Lane Johnson, the elephant in the room, that scumbag, Mr. PED himself. And listen, I think it's very valid, and to your point on your social media posts, and Mr. Zeke, who's a big chimer-inner, is that it did hurt our season. Now, do I think we would have been a playoff team with him? It's just so tough to say, but I'm going to just lean on the no. Because he was on this football team last year. And he's one of the guys who essentially quit. So, you know what I mean? He's fighting for a job, so he's going to come back hungry to play. So, do I think it would have been, were we 5-1 with him? Yes. Yes. And would it have helped us? No question. But the way the Cowboys and the Giants played, I don't think we would have made the playoffs. That's just a personal opinion. I don't think we would have made it anyway. It would have been nice to give the Browns a little, send them down a little further.
Here's where I go with this, though. I think if they have him, because there's a domino effect here.
Uh-huh.
I think if they have him, they run the ball a lot better, which, I just hammered on this show week after week after week after week about running the ball. But not only do they run the ball better, they don't have to keep a tight end in on that side of the line, so you're now giving Carson Wentz another option in the passing game. Ball control, it's another option in the passing game. It might be Zach Ertz, for all we know. I mean, most of the time, and we've talked about this a lot, you're lining up Zach Ertz opposite that side so that he can actually get out into the pattern, and you're keeping Brent Selleck to help with the chip on that side. But regardless, you're taking an option out of the passing game to help out your right tackle because your all-pro is gone. So does the domino effect help their offense control the clock, put more points on the board to the point where they win more games? And if they win those games in the division, do they wind up taking the wild card instead of the Giants? It's hard to say. I mean, like I said earlier when we first came on the air, like it's not a good football team. They finished 7-9. They couldn't overcome the suspension. They're not a good football team. Even saying that they're not a good football team, if he doesn't get suspended, can they get to 11-5? Yeah, I think that's easy.
Well, I thought they were 11-5 team too. No injuries. That was my whole thing.
Yeah.
If it was a healthy team, it was 11-5 team. Right? And then maybe, I'm going back on myself a little bit by saying that they wouldn't have been a playoff team. But when I think we could have probably made it over the Giants, yeah. But then, you're essentially a one-and-doner.
Yeah, and
you're not, and then again, if we talk about Howie and Band-Aids, well then you can then sell us on that you're a playoff team. And like I said, it's easier to trim the fat when you don't make the playoffs than it is when you do.
Well, and if you're a one-and-doner, where are you drafting? 20, 21?
Yeah, and now granted,
that would have been the great thing though. We didn't have to pick.
Any other year, I think it will. Obviously, then you're looking for the pick, but we ended up in a good spot anyway.
Right.
So. It wasn't that big of a deal.
See, and it's funny because you were talking about, before the season, I said with Bradford, they were 9-7. With Wentz, they were 7-9, 6-10. And I come out on the right side of that ledger, which is great. But I feel like I almost backed into it based on the way the season went. You know what I mean?
Based on key injuries.
I don't feel good about that prediction.
No.
I said my Super Bowl teams were the Cardinals and the Steelers. Steelers are still very much alive. Do I feel good about that pick? Absolutely. But my prediction of the Birds 7-9, yeah, I was right. But when you start out 3-0 and you finish 7-9, that sucks.
Listen, we argued about it a lot.
We did argue about it a lot.
We were different I was a big believer that the kid can play, he can make plays, and guess what? Then we talk about the difference of him in the pocket when Lane's in there and not in there, and the happy feet and some of the things that happen, which cause bad throws. Now, does he have a lot of development to go in terms of throwing? Yeah, I mean, he still makes bad throws, rookie throws. He's got to shorten up the delivery a little bit, but overall, you saw him with Lane in there. He made plays, and he started making plays in the pocket. Almost Roger-ish, Favre-ish, they like to say. I mean, you can, and nowhere close, but some of the elusiveness is Five-ish and Vic-ish in terms of inside the pocket. Okay, because Five was great inside the pocket, very elusive later on in his career when he didn't run as much. The guy can make you miss in the pocket. One, he was a moose at like 250.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He just got bigger and bigger to the point where he couldn't throw anymore. But
well, let me ask you guys a question.
I think I'm going back on it. I mean, they could have been a 10-6, 11-5 football team with him in there because he does so. I mean, you need bookend tackles in this league. That's the reason, like Mark Eckel said, or before we even did the season, you just can't go find a right or left tackle, off a tree somewhere. They're not around.
Right.
So, I mean, that's a smart guy who's been covering a lot longer than us. Yeah, you can tell he's that, and it is what it is.
Well, let me ask you guys a question. Sean, I'll start with
you.
And
then V got hurt. Sorry, V got hurt, and then the trickle.
You're right.
So,
Sean, is there anything that the kid did this year that gives you any pause at all? I mean, are you looking at him shaking your head going, I don't know?
No. The only downfall that when I saw him was the batted passes. I don't like a 6-foot guy getting the ball put right back in his face. I don't think that should ever happen when you're 6 feet 5 inches tall. It shouldn't, but it's his long motion. But I have faith that the kid is an absolute workhorse, and next year that won't be a problem. And then I honestly thought the whole year I didn't see him grow at all. Like I felt like what I saw day one was what I saw, but the past couple weeks, week before the Giants game, and then I've seen it a lot in the Giants game, and you've seen it again against the Dallas Cowboys. The guy, he figured out how to use his legs at the NFL level, and now I think the sky is the limit.
Mm-hmm. When you can be elusive in the pocket, it becomes when you can extend. I mean, you talk about the Packers and Aaron Rodgers, and you'll hear it a million times, and you'll hear it throughout the playoffs. When they practice scramble drills, right. and that's what they do, and that's why they kill you on that. Now, do they have a quick passing game which they can hurt you on? If you take that away, Rodgers' ability to move in the pocket and extend plays is what we're talking about, and Sean's talking about. When you can move, and I saw that too, and that's a great point because you were waiting for something. We were sitting. That's a great question because we were sitting waiting What is it? What's going to be? What's going to show us a little bit of progress with the kid? And when you saw him move in the pocket and make plays, I think that gave. I agree with Sean. I think going into the next year, I think he's a grinder or a worker. I think the sky's the limit.
So, same question for you: is there anything at all about this kid that gives you pause, or you're not sure? And it's okay to say no, because I'll say no. There's a ton of stuff that he's got to work on, but is he a franchise quarterback for the next 10 years? Absolutely.
Listen, I completely agree. I'm sitting here thinking, what bothers me? Sean's
I see
point,
the
batted
smoke
balls
coming out from your headset.
Yeah, the batted balls is a big thing when you're 6'5". I mean, I can't have that. It's plain and simple. I can't have it. So that's the delivery, and Doug Peterson talked about that a lot throughout the course of the season. That's something you don't change. Pitcher, you're not going to go change their delivery in the middle of a game because sometimes you can mess with them. You might, little tweak here and there, but you're not going to get deep into something, throughout the season. Now, maybe in baseball, yeah, because it's longer, but, in general, like when I umpire, I'm not going to go call, when it's younger kids, you're not going to call an illegal pitch in a softball game and try to tell, hey, switch it right now, change it right now. Yeah. You just want to be like, okay. And I think it's the same thing, even though it's a higher level here, it still relates that it can something that you change off season. And I think he's a grinder. Now, I'm still freaking thinking it's anything.
Well, hold on a second, because while you're thinking about that, what I'm going to hit you with right now is if you look back at the Kansas City offense over the last couple of years, before they got Macklin, before they got Tyreek Hill, before they realized that they had something with Albert Wilson, there was an element to that offense that Andy kind of dialed down a little bit this year, but Doug should have had and did not. And I will tell you that it was because of the injury in the preseason. If Carson Wentz hadn't gotten hurt in the preseason and they made the trade and brought him all the way through, if they start running read option with him and just give him the opportunity to run the ball himself 3 or 4 times a game just to back that pass rush off a tick, I think you see an entirely different quarterback.
And so far, the quotes was to the hurt.
Yeah.
Because was he?
No, I know.
He? The question will always look back on.
I don't think there's any question that he was hurt.
Conspiracy.
But there's a difference between being hurt and being injured.
And being like,
I don't think he was ever injured.
And talking like, injured reserve, not even like suiting them.
Yeah.
They're talking that shit, and then he's your starter. But yeah, I agree, Mike. Even a little banged up because it was a shot.
Yeah.
Even like a contusion, they want to ease him in slowly. So I agree.
Yeah. If he didn't,
could you imagine? We finished this football season and Carson Wentz didn't play a snap. Like, we have no freaking clue what we have.
So our conversation right now is who is Carson Wentz.
Yeah, could you imagine that? And what he did this year, could you imagine knowing an effing thing?
And my whole thing would go off of one throw in the preseason on the move laser Rodgers to the sideline that I'll never forget. And I said, yep, he can play. It was one throw, and I said, well, that's big boy throw. Like big boy pants, he put them on and hello. You know what I mean? And when I see guys make throws like that, now Rodgers' release is so much quicker. But it was just the ability to get that throw there on the run, You know what? If Carson Wentz really... So I think Dak lacks a little bit is moving and throwing a little bit. I think they want to get him on the move, but I'm talking about scramble moving, not like design plays. Make sense? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'm talking pressure... throw like that compared to design
fitting the ball in rather than throwing it to a spot.
Yeah. Well, and I've heard Kurt Warner talk multiple times on NFL Network over the last couple of weeks when they're talking about the whole Dak Prescott Carson Wentz comparison, and they can both be really good. Why they can, but why these cockroaches can't get it into their head? And Dak is so much better than Carson Wentz. No, he's not. Yeah. He's in a better situation. Oh, my God. Everybody who knows... Sam Bradford will look good in that situation.
Yeah. They would be if they had Wentz right now with Elliott, Dez, and all them, they might be my Super Bowl pick.
Oh. They might also be undefeated.
I know he's played well, but there's something about some of his throws that are very concerning to me.
Dak,
but I'm not saying he can't be, because he's played well. But I think Jerry. Listen, I'm not gonna freaking lie to you. I think Jerry knows that he's not he's good, but he's not your franchise good. Because there's a reason, Jerry. I don't think he's going to let Tony go. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't think Tony goes because I don't know how much the big dog believes in it. Because we know what it's built off. It's built off power football, a damn good running back that you can't even take nothing away from. Even though the line's great, he's damn great. Okay? So that's the difference from people say, oh, well, last year's team saw that O-line. Well, they didn't have Zeke. Darren McFadden, Ezekiel, a little different. Okay, a little different. McFadden in a little bunch. Carry here, carry there. Okay.
Ooh. I have a great.
That's the difference.
I have a
not
great.
that.
I just love. I have a great question.
Tony might win 14.
Okay.
Tony might win fucking 14.
I just love the fact that when he's going out here ripping the Cowboys and saying that Dak's not for real, the whole time he's peeking around the computer
saying hello.
To the Cowboys.
We'll come and say hello to him because he's realistic. He's not a liar, and I think he thinks Dak. Listen, he's not going to come on here and say Dak isn't the franchise guy, nor should he. He should believe he is. I'm saying the big kahuna. The Godfather, I just think that he believes that if Tony was healthy this year, they win 14. I'm a believer of that. That they are a Super Bowl contender with Tony Romo playing. If he plays, that's my pick. And I hate to freaking say that, but I'm being real. If Romo gets into the game and plays, that's my Super Bowl contender. So Cowboys fans, if you're real, should back a little knee twist. Maybe take him out.
All right, now.
Sorry.
No, it's
sorry
it's
for the rant. I had to get it out. I hate to say it. Oh my God, did I say it?
So
only Tony, so I had the out. I got the out. You don't play. I didn't. They're not good enough.
If you're a team who's a quarterback away from potentially winning the Super Bowl,
ooh, how are you?
And you have to give up a number one to get your quarterback. Are you making an offer to the Dallas Cowboys for Tony Romo or the New England Patriots for Jimmy Garoppolo?
Oh, it's Tony.
Romo, yeah.
Romo,
if you're literally only a quarterback away.
I'm not giving you a fourth for Garoppolo.
I've been saying this for weeks.
We wouldn't even give you a beat-up used car.
I've been saying this for weeks. You know who I think Tony Romo's going to be the starting quarterback for next year?
The Broncos?
Well, yeah, the Broncos, that is likely. But I've been saying the Arizona Cardinals.
Ooh.
I think Palmer hangs them up.
I don't think Jerry trades him in the NFC. I think if he trades him, he's going to an AFC team.
I will. Listen, you got to.
I think
we don't use
Cutler might find his way to Denver.
Oh, my God.
2.0.
Honestly, that would not surprise me. And it wouldn't surprise me if Brandon Marshall went back with him.
Bring out your notepads.
He's getting out of the diaper?
Yeah. Well, he pretty much said he wants out of New York, so they're going to release him.
When you say you walk around, the whole season you're walking around in a diaper.
He's going to leave New York and go straight to the Patriots.
Ooh. Another weapon for Mr. Tomas.
Him and Michael Floyd.
Mr. Uggs himself. Just slinging the former drinkers, diaper wearers. It's a mess in New England, but it just works.
It's a mess until you get there, and then it's...
Listen,
for some reason you're a changed man. Something different in the water.
To borrow the Mark Zinkoff phrase, they do turn garbage into gold.
They do. And listen, at the end of the day, when you trade a Pro Bowl linebacker in the season to the Browns for essentially nothing, there's no bigger statement that you can make the football team.
And then you don't miss a beat.
Yep, and the only people who can get away with it is Bill. But I had something else to say or Tony. Oh, right. Everybody's got the notepad in their phone. I suggest our listeners get that out and write this in there. Tony Romo is not leaving the Dallas Cowboys. He's not leaving the Dallas Cowboys. Listen, none of us in this room have a kid, but we all got family members, right? Tony's bigger than a kid to Jerry. you got to understand. I mean, how long they've been together? I hate the freaking Dallas Cowboys, but you can write this in the notepad too. If Tony plays, watch out. Because he's a healthy guy, and you saw a little sling that he played when he got a chance to play a little bit. He still got the zip. So, maybe the back looks good. Everything looks good. They maybe would be more of my NFC team because they're not right now with that.
I've been saying that all year.
I've
just been praying that Dak doesn't get hurt.
Me too.
That's why I said as soon as Romo gets in there, scary team.
Because there's a lot of the X's going up, and I hate the X's. I hate the X, but they'll be flying around.
Robbie,
and Terrence Williams gets the ball as soon as
Robbie, you'll love this one.
As soon as Tony's in the game, Terrence Williams. I
love it. What was funny?
I hate it.
What was funny?
But you know what I mean.
What was funny?
Predictable.
Yeah, no, you're right. What was funny to me was
Scumbags.
watching the game Sunday. I was just waiting for Romo comes in, just bing, bang, boom, right down the field. Little smoke route on the outside, boom, touchdown. I was waiting for him just to look to the sideline and be like, hey, suck it.
Or to Jordan,
Or,
where
yeah.
he just goes,
Just
put your hand there I don't even know what I'm doing out here.
Or just be like,
Kind of did.
Oh, Victor Martinez says Tony will
either
be a
that
Bronco.
Either that or running off the field with the airplane running off.
One thing
Did you
I
hear me,
wasn't
Mike?
happy. I found
Victor
out.
Martinez says it will be a Bronco. David Aldridge chiming in, YouTube. We need receivers in the draft and get corners in free agency. I wrote back, or vice
Flip
versa.
that.
Or vice versa.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter how you get it.
Thanks, Dwayne.
See, a name that I thought that was going to be out there in the corner market was Dre Kilpatrick from the Bengals. But now with this Adam Jones situation, I don't see how the Bengals let him go.
DG Productions. You guys still live? Damn. Yeah, bro. We go. Tabor is a beast. Go Gators.
You got to be picking in the top 8.
Yeah.
to get him
Actually-
now.
So, DG, we just rocking, man. We don't stop talking. We're in the business of talking. How are you?
Victor Martinez, Steven has a lot of influence. I assume he's talking about Stephen Jones.
Well, he does.
Oh, that's interesting, though, because then does it become a power struggle between Jerry and Steven?
Well, it's already been.
Whether he stays or goes.
You look back at the Enzel draft when, we know who Jerry wanted. All right? I mean, maybe Jerry liked the party life. I don't know.
Yeah,
Jerry
he wanted
go
to
out
be
and grab
part of
some
that. He
titty.
wanted to be in that nightclub.
Yeah, he went to grab some titty. No problem. We're not mad at you, Jerry. You're worth billions, babe.
Well,
grab titties all you want. But, he wanted
Back
Manziel.
rooms, glory holes.
Yeah.
Right. Go back
They
to
went O-line. They
Little-
went O-line.
little
That
lines
was
in the
good.
owner's box.
Go back to the Dak thing for a minute, though, because,
Yeah.
honestly, you can't hate on the guy. I mean, if you want to say Carson Wentz is a better quarterback,
Yeah,
that's
I
fine.
try to hate on him.
I mean, you try to hate on him, but it's
Getting
tough.
it done, though.
I'm not saying it's not.
And you look and, you hear all the stuff that came out when Chip got fired this week that Chip wanted to draft him in the first round.
Here we go. So everyone draft every quarterback in the first round. Everybody, when they get fired, wanted to draft somebody
Well,
else.
they said that's why Balky was out the door right away.
Well, guess what? Then if Chip had no influence in there, well, then that's a terrible organization. And they did him dirty.
Well, they saw what he did in
Pretty
Philly.
much,
They did it.
much a given that it's a terrible
They
organization.
did, yeah, but they did him dirty. They did him
yeah.
really dirty. Say what you want. I mean, they just Chip Kelly dirty.
Yeah, how do you take over a shitty roster,
How you justify
win 2
that?
games,
Yeah.
and then, see ya.
See ya.
Somebody else would have won 3.
See ya.
And I think this year
Right,
he
but
was
you-
finally going to get his quarterback.
Right, but you come out in your opener and you beat a team 28-0, and then you don't win again for how many weeks? It's,
Oh, one
Yeah,
Navarro Bowman going
Yeah.
down. I mean, you knew it was over then. I mean, how long was Bowman hurt for? The whole year, right? So I mean, that's what shut St. Louis down that night. I mean, that was their dog. I mean, that was their star player, best player on that football team, tenure the whole 9. And when he went down again, it wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough. So.
Victor Martinez chiming in from Dallas.
Is he? Oh, right the ball. The Iguana Mirage. Spent a few days there.
A little bit.
Yeah, well, so we know. Yeah,
Going to Deep Ellum to have a PBR and whiskey?
Listen, they can sell you down there, Victor, that Steven makes all the calls.
Jerry takes the
promise you.
microphone and Steven makes the call.
Who's signing checks? Who loves football more than anything? When it comes to that, when it comes to the Dallas coach, Jerry loves football. All right, he loves being involved in everything. And the one thing I can say, as much as I hate the Cowboys, Jerry's a freaking great owner. And any team would love to have Jerry Jones as their owner. You'd be an idiot not to. But don't say that's no say. Come on. Or little boys making all the calls. Come on. This is Texas. All right? The kid don't go over or ever overtake the big dog down south. All right? We know that. Right? Watch a movie or two. That's not how it goes.
No.
Right, Rob?
Down south, the big dog dies on the crowd.
Yeah.
On the
and then little Stevie takes over.
on the throne. Yeah.
Stevie don't take over till Jerry's 6 feet under. I like you, Victor, though. It's a good, I mean, you might be
One
right.
of the greatest owners.
I'm gonna
control
argue
freak,
everything.
though. You think he's going to let over Reigns while his
Nah.
heart's still beating?
Nah.
Boys, I got another scenario for you.
Man, scenarioed up.
I do.
I
You
like
know
your
what?
style.
We haven't done this in 3 weeks. I had a lot of time to think.
It is true. It's been a freaking long time. Sean was here last week. I think I ran into him at 7-Eleven.
Just in case.
Sean hit me last week. He's like, "Bro, we're not doing a show, are we?" And I'm like, "Oh man, if he went to the studio."
I pulled up a half hour early. Was like,
Feels good.
well.
That's dedication.
So there's 2 wide receivers in the NFL. Both
All right.
finished their second year. That both legitimately could use a change of scenery. And I feel like if you do a 1-for-1 deal for these guys, neither team is losing out on the deal in terms of you're parting with too much for the other guy. And that would be the Eagles offering Nelson Aguilar to the Indianapolis Colts for Philip Dorsett. Now, Philip Dorsett out of Miami, so he's not a small school guy.
Well, I love you. It's my favorite school.
5'10", 180.
You what?
4.45 speed. So, he's got the speed. He's got the size. I mean, he's bigger than Deshaun. He might be 5'10",
185.
He might be miscast as a slot guy in Indy. Maybe he has to play outside. But if he's got to play outside, that's fine because Jordan Matthews plays the slot here. I'm not ready to give up on Nelson Aguilar. But if Indy comes knocking and says, hey, both of these guys need a change of scenery, I think I'm willing to listen real hard.
I mean, you go ahead first, Sean.
I mean, when you first posed it, I was like, to me, they're essentially the same guy. But, in your point, the change of what the hell do you Eagles got to lose right now? They don't have a player. Why not take a shot? Maybe you got one.
Right. I mean, if it's the same guy.
I mean, he wasn't 5'10", 185. It's a different story. But, Nelson has the body of a number one. And I can't – I got to give that one more year to see if I can get that talent out of him. And then if this year you don't, then you know what you have. All right? And I think it's that simple. I can't justify that move yet. Because if he goes there and has success, that's a killer. Right? And Dorsett's not built, to me, anywhere.
To be a one, yeah.
Anywhere one. A good complimentary guy. Fast. I'm not saying he has to be in the slot, but I just don't think he's ever one material. And I don't think the Colts ever drafted him thinking as a one. Truthfully, even though they went first round with him, I don't think Philip Dorsett pick was ever thinking he was a one.
He was a stretch guy.
It was a Hilton, put somebody, get a wide receiver next to him with some speed.
I think they're worried about T.Y. Hilton's durability, which is not a bad concern.
Listen, when you have small wideouts.
I would trade Aguilar for Moncrief.
Listen,
in a heartbeat.
When I draft wideouts, I look for
DGB.
size. I want big wideouts, big targets who run strong routes because at the end of the day, the
you mean like Michael Floyd?
Look, the easy thing, well, he'd come here and start drinking again.
I'd be all right.
I'll be his Uber driver.
Catch the ball.
He won't ever have to worry about driving again.
Philly.
Well, my point is, I don't even know my point now, but go ahead.
No, I mean.
I just don't even, I don't make the move yet. I can't justify it. I got 6'4", 210 over 5'10", 185. And both have struggled. But the thing I've seen from Nelson, glimpses, is, oh, there it is. But then a mistake will happen. Now, again, second season, he was banged up his first for the majority of the year. And again, if we're going to give passes because of the Zach Ertz for a change of scenery all the time, well, I got to give a kid who was hurt most of his rookie year a little bit of a pass on a new system. Now, next year's the year, right? Junior year, right? That's how you look at players. You break out by your junior year, or you're just not NFL ready or college ready, essentially, right? So here it is. And then you find out.
If you don't break out by your junior year, they start playing freshmen over you.
Exactly. So then that scenario would be a more willing situation for me, if that makes sense. All right? But right now, I just can't. I feel like it's freaking there with him. Yeah, I watch him sometimes. I'm like, there it is. Woo. Or, oh, there it is. No. A lot of no's, but you see the speed, the size, and that's one material, and you just hope that he can gain chemistry with Wentz.
And
it's
all his head. It's all
Wentz.
like the talent. You've seen in the Seattle game. Of course, everyone's going to come back to that huge drop across the middle. But how about the fact that he beat Richard Sherman on that route, and he beat Richard Sherman multiple times in that game to get open.
Yeah.
And first week one, when he got the deep pass to Wentz, who'd he beat on that play? Joe Hayden.
Yep. So that's what drives you crazy.
Well, and the Detroit game. I mean, he had Slay beat on that pattern. He just didn't adjust to the ball.
And I think that's things that two factors come into that. As a quarterback, chemistry with your wideout is so important. So when you're both throwing the ball in your essential fifth game together, okay, or fourth game together, playing together, that's something, that kind of ball is something that comes over time for both guys. Right? What's Carson thinking when he throws his football? Right? What am I like? What's our chemistry together? Is he going to leave me with the ball? Is he going to back shoulder me if the defender's on my hip? What's he going to do in certain situations? That's so important, especially in a game that's so fast, and that chemistry means so much.
Well, then,
so that like another year with them two fully playing together, does it build?
Well, to your point,
I don't know.
Carson didn't run with the ones until Bradford got traded.
Yeah, it's even deeper. Got to go corners early. Sign Marshall and D-Jackson short-term deals. That's Joseph Giannini.
I would love Brandon Marshall.
Tino. I love it. It's a big Italian name. I'm Arnone, so I ain't got that big of a
I
name.
would love Brandon Marshall.
If I had to take one of them, I'm taking Marshall. Look, I love Deshaun.
We don't have that much cap room, though. You're not signing Deshaun and Marshall.
No, you're not. And if that's the route,
Maybe he meant or.
Right, but I mean, it's if that's the route you're going to go, I'm gonna have Nelson Aguilar be my speed guy, and I want Brandon Marshall.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Brandon Marshall's a bona fide one.
I want that size. And what's crazy is Brandon Marshall being on TV might be the best thing that's happened to his career because he's matured. Mm-hmm. He knows that he can't be a jack-off on the field and then go on this TV show and not answer for it anymore. And because Boomer will put him on the spot. I think
Boone's pretty good with that. That he'll just he don't care.
Yeah, I love what Brandon Marshall's doing on the field and off the field now, and I'd love to have him absolutely. So
I would rather him than D-Jax, no question.
100%.
That's a one. It's a big boy.
So we covered our elephant in the room, right? Lane Johnson.
Lane Johnson. Yep.
We talked about Zach Ertz and his huge finish to the season, especially
seasons.
Yeah, seasons.
Plural.
Right on cue.
What about Malcolm Jenkins? Pick 6, another one later on against the Giants. And then supposedly Malcolm Jenkins invented the defense that they ran at the end of the game.
Yeah, that's pretty freaking cool.
I mean, Malcolm Jenkins...
The Ohio State education.
Yeah, he basically invents a box and one, a basketball defense to play in football. We're going to go... It's like Bill Raftery. They're going zone with man principles.
I love Bill. Bill.
It's like, okay.
Get out of the puppies.
Yeah, so they're zoning up, but they're going to run man on Odell.
Little kiss.
It's crazy. Although I'll tell you what, he may have unintentionally told every other team in the NFL how to beat the Giants, at least in terms of their secondary. You go zone and you man up on Odell. And
although Odell still torched him.
Right, he did, but here's the other thing you can do. And obviously the Giants would scheme away from it, but I don't know why other teams haven't looked at this in the first place. Imagine wherever Odell goes, because he lines up in the slot a hell of a lot. Why not line a linebacker up over him and jam him and have your slot corner playing behind the linebacker? Because if you notice, Odell doesn't beat you deep. Odell beats you on
across the middle, yeah.
He beats you on short crosses, and then he outruns you.
But
if you can bump him and get the timing of those short crosses off, or you just bump him off the route, then they're gonna have to look elsewhere. And I don't know why teams aren't more physical with him. I really don't. That's neither here nor there.
Well,
right
you know
now.
what? Because he's physical too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, say what we want about him. He is physical. So if you're going to get in a physical game with him, he'll get physical with you. I think the fact that he, the pass over the middle or stuff that he takes house a lot because he's so freaking fast. But he'll crush him the deep.
And he don't have.
You take middle away from him, he'll beat you over top too. But the problem is their offensive line, like we talked about early in the preseason. I said that's the worst in football.
Oh, yeah.
One of the worst. I thought that was going to be really going to keep them out of the playoffs. They lucked out. They have no running game. They had no offense.
But that's why they're hitting.
Their offense is Odell.
I'm about to say, that's why, to Mike's point, that's why it's 3 and in, boom, take off.
Yeah.
Eli's not standing back there holding the rock. Because the guy, I hate to say it, the guy out of Miami, Flowers,
right?
He's a holding call every play.
Yeah. I mean, it's a bad offensive line. So yeah, I mean, it was nice to end the season with a couple wins. That Giants game on a Thursday night before Christmas. I mean,
with our basic ass color rush uniforms that we've seen 4 times before that game even happened.
Well, apparently the deal with that was that they
always got something to say.
Well, it wasn't even them; it was the league. The league.
Oh, them too.
And apparently there was a big fine for this. That the league basically said your color rush jerseys are going to be your black jerseys, but you're going to wear all black pants with them. And apparently the black pants came in, and none of the players like how they look, and they said, screw this, we're wearing the ones with the white stripe down the side.
They wanted all black.
Apparently they were like this weird, like metallic, shiny black material.
Yeah, because they wanted to shine on TV.
And none of the guys liked the way they looked, and we're just basically like, screw this, give us our black pants.
What I saw with hinted, though, in the beginning of the year, and I was actually all for this, they looked sick on the edit. It was all gray uniforms, like the dark gray that they have in the wings,
right,
with green numbers and green names on the back.
That
would have been sick.
I would have been cool with that. I'll tell you what, as funny as it sounds, the Giants wearing like the all-white throwbacks from the 80s, Giants uniforms look badass that night.
Oh, I love those helmets, too. The Giants across, screw that little NY logo.
Yeah, they are cool.
The Giants uniform with the big block letters. Oh, man, their uniforms look badass that night. I give it to them for that.
Well, listen, I think we went through a lot. You want to take one more break? We'll come back, and we'll wrap it all up. We'll give you a wish list, or holiday wish list for all 4 major teams. I'm sure that's going to take a little bit. We'll have fun with that. We'll talk about Lil Nova losing 68-58 to Butler. Flyers down 4-1 right now to the Rangers. Hollis Thompson.
The goal under review.
Oh, so it could be 3-1? Yes. We'll keep our fingers crossed. Hollis Thompson, the first piece of the process is gone.
Dunzo.
Maybe a little Tim Hardaway Jr. That means shit to me. And then that's pretty much it. We'll wrap it up. We'll give her the 2 teams we believe are going to go to the Super Bowl, represent the AFC, NFC, all on the other side when we come back. This was brought to you by Gibson Mayer, LLC, your certified public account. Find on the web, gibsonmayer.com. Tom,
Mike,
AM,
in the PM.
We'll be right back.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
Do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215 369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
Tom Arnone, Big Mikey Smalls, Tom, Mike, AM, in the PM, only on A2DRadio.com.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
Do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
We're back. Tom,
Mike,
AM,
PM,
right here at HDRadio.com. Tom Arnone, Michael Madaraki, Sean Redden, Rob Povey on the ones and twos. We're live from the BMW Atlantic City studios. We're right here in Mount Ephraim, New Jersey. BMW Atlantic City, right off exit 37 in the Parkway. Find them online, BMWAtlanticCity.com. Also, our Wednesday night show sponsor, Gibson Mayer LLC, our certified public accountant. Make them yours. Find them on the web, GibsonMayer.com. It is tax season. 'Tis the season, as they like to say. If you just joined us, we talked a lot of Eagles tonight. We talked Zach Ertz, huge day versus Dallas. How he's always finishing strong, and we hope some chemistry with Carson Wentz moving forward can grow a relationship there and him get better, progress, right? That's what we're looking for. Lane Johnson's suspension, how it killed us. We talked about that, what a record could have been, how things could have been different. And then Malcolm Jenkins going back to the safety spot and making plays, especially in that Giants game, making a lot of them from that safety spot. So big things there. Our poll question, you can vote for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. HUD Radio is where you can find us. It's brought to you by Scanzano Sports. Find on the web, scanzanosports.com. Which Eagles assistant coach is most likely to land a head coaching job this offseason? Frank Reich, Buffalo Bills, Jim Schwartz, nowhere. Dave
Phipp.
Dave Phipp. I almost want to say Dave because it looks like there's an L there every time.
Flip, yeah.
With the bold, I don't know why. Go after yourself. I like you, Dave. And then Tom DiFilippo. Who I love. I love Tom DiFilippo, and I can't believe that all the guys, that's the guy I want to keep. Well, you know why? Because if that's who's close to your quarterback, and that's the bromance.
Keep your quarterback happy.
I'm all about keeping my guys happy. Don't get cute. All right, Howie.
That's what you
Howie.
saw. You saw what
see
the
my eye
Bucks.
contact with you, Sean. Howie.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of eye contact, a lot of head nodding. Okay? Go ahead.
You
Sorry.
saw what the Buccaneers did last year, though. They thought Cotter did wonders with Winston in his rookie year. He was going to get head coaching jobs right away. Quickly pulled the plug on Lovie Smith. Hey, Dirk, you're right here, buddy. You'll be our coach.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Boom. Done. And chemistry. And that team played better. Mm-hmm. Right? It was a pick of mine to win that division because I just thought Atlanta never finished. They weren't finishers.
They're not finishers.
And right now they finished. Let's see if they can continue their finish. And we'll get into our predictions in a second. But what I want to –
Well, but while you're there, though, how did
I don't even know where I am.
how did Atlanta learn to finish, though?
Yeah.
Running game and other options in the passing game besides Julio.
A huge signing.
Agreed. Tevin Coleman was healthy this year, and you had Vic Beasley.
Yeah,
Really came on this
When
year.
they put him in a position to say, put your hand in the dirt and go ahead and go get somebody. Completely agree. And Sanu.
Yep.
Huge.
And Taylor Gabriel.
Gabriel.
Turned into a big receiver this
Well,
year.
of course, he better. Better, babe. Wait a second. Hold the
Right, but
telephone.
here's the thing, though,
hold the cell phone, I should say, because there's no more telephones, really. Hold the cell phone.
Right.
He don't get open if he's a 2 like that.
No, but if
he's a 2.
you look at what Atlanta did with Julio, and they know Julio's the one, and they know Julio's got to get 12 to 15 targets every game. So what did they do? They didn't go out and find a number 2 that was going to have to get 8 to 10 targets a game. They went out and they found a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5 that were all good, that if they could just spread the ball amongst them while keeping Julio happy. So, I mean, if you look, Sanu, Justin Hardy, Taylor Gabriel, Aldrick Robinson, the 4 of them, along with Julio, that's a great wide receiving core. It really is.
It is, and it all starts up top with the big dog over there, and that's Julio, and he creates the space and he creates all the attention. And guess what? That's one guy that you can say, wide receivers being prima donnas, he's not one.
Oh, no.
And so, to your point is, you're more willing to give the guy 10 to 12 targets who ain't begging for 10 to 12.
Oh, he's a man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he don't beg for 10 to 12. You better get him 10 to 12.
He's like, I'm open.
How could you not?
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean,
That's on you if you don't give me the ball.
If you don't want to throw to me 12 times a game, that's your career.
right. Well, what's funny is y'all remember Randy Moss with the thing where, when Moss was like, when I throw my hand up, you throw me the ball. Julio didn't even need to put his hand up. Julio's just like, the play, I will be open. You just throw it to where I'm going to be.
You're right.
I will be open.
You're right.
And if he's not, it's probably because he got interfered with.
Well, a guy like Julio would tie right into like wish list, right? for major sports, like big time players like that. Let's start not with the Eagles. Mm-hmm. Let's start with the Philadelphia 76ers.
Well, how do you want to do this? You want to go team all around, or do you want to go one guy all 4 teams? I think you go team around. So you Sixers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yeah, we take a guy.
Yeah.
What do we want? What's our wish list? If mine for the Sixers would be Simmons and Embiid's health. I think that's an easy one. But you guys can have the same thing.
Yeah, no, that's 100% mine. As long as Ben Simmons comes back and doesn't re-injure it like Kevin Durant did a couple years ago. If him and Embiid finish this season healthy. Actually, I got another one. One of these big men got to go. Actually, since we're making wish lists,
how about not one?
Okafor.
Yeah, thank you,
Yeah.
Sean, because that's inappropriate of me not to even bring that up. See you, Julio. I mean, let Nerlens and Embiid play together. That's a wish list of mine, too. My wish list is deep. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah,
When we have 9 wins, you can do a lot of wishing for a basketball team. Santa don't like that many.
Can you do, like, Ja to Golden State for Klay Thompson?
You may have been able to do it 5 months ago.
I think you might be able to swing Nerlens.
Yeah.
But I don't want to see Nerlens go. I hate Jahlil Okafor.
Listen,
that's my new 30 for 30 Duke guy. I hate Jahlil Okafor.
Well, you know what, too, is I think Nerlens understands his role a lot better. Like, he knows when he's on the floor with JoJo, he's got to rebound and run the floor.
He hides his weaknesses.
Yeah. Well, but here's the thing: is he rebounds and he runs the floor. He knows he's going to get points in transition, and if you watch every time he's on the floor with JoJo gets the ball. Nerlens immediately crashes because he knows either Embiid is going to find him, or there's going to be 1 or 2 more passes and the shot's going up. Like, for as much as I really just wanted Nerlens to STFU a couple weeks ago, he gets playing with another big. Ja can't do that.
No.
And you know who I think is going to bring out the best we've ever seen in Nerlens Noel? It's Ben Simmons.
I completely agree.
He grabs he's the only guy that can, even better than Joel. Nerlens can run that floor when Simmons gets it off the rim and pushes it. Nerlens is the only big guy that can keep pace with him.
I think the Sixers are going to realize it. And I think Jalil's going to be the guy who goes.
I hope so.
So hopefully.
My wish for the Sixers is just somewhere in this draft coming up, an absolute NBA-ready pure shooter. Guy doesn't have to be an all-around talent.
Monk
from
Kentucky.
And that's a great name. But, I want a guy who's 6'5", 6'6", who's not he doesn't have to be, all first-team defensive. Just don't be a liability on the defensive end of the floor. But I want a guy who's going to drain, 43% from beyond the arc and is going to give you, 15 to 18 a night with a good bit of that coming from behind the arc.
That's a good one.
Nice.
Let's go.
We're off to a good start.
Yeah.
Well, we got a bat and ball in our hands, so let's go right into the Philadelphia Phillies. You guys can start it off, either one.
I have one wish. Let me see the guys. Let me see the young guys. All I want to do is see them, catch a little glimpse.
That's all. Just a little taste, a little peek. Just a tip.
Without leaving the state of New Jersey or leaving the tri-state area. I don't want to have to go to Clearwater to watch them.
No. You want to be able to put the tip in.
Yeah.
You want him in the bedroom with you. That's what I want him. Go ahead.
Mike Trout.
Good wish.
This year.
I'm telling you, I could put a package together.
Oh, I think we can sit here and do one right now, essentially. If we had the time, but yeah.
Him and Carson, we just become best friends?
And you know what? I don't give a shit if we need to go 6 or 7 for one. If it gets me Mike Trout, I'm in.
Yeah, I would like, if not Trout, I like the Batista. I would like that. I think that's a good start in the direction of, hey, we're just not going to bow down.
Actually, being more realistic, somebody out there that I think actually could be had is Andrew McCutchen.
Yeah, they've been talking. There's been a lot of talks. Now, McCutchen's, I would essentially do that one over Batista, but I sort of like the possible 50-55 at Citizens Bank and just power. A little power baseball back. You know what I mean?
I don't disagree with you, but I actually think McCutchen could be a 40-40 guy.
I agree. I love Andrew McCutchen.
Who's the odd man out then, though? Who's your starting outfield? McCutchen, Williams, and Herrera? Altair's the odd man out?
No. I go the other way. Right out of the gate. I'm going Herrera in left, Quinn in center, McCutchen with that arm. No, I'm sorry. Go the other way because Quinn's actually got a great arm. I'm going Herrera in left, McCutchen in center, Quinn in right. And then I have Williams and Altair as my 4 and 5. Right now, I still love Nick Williams. He's got to earn it.
Well, if you sign Batista or you trade for McCutchen, you don't have to bring him up there. Yeah.
We're thinking too small here.
And if that's the case, Howie Kendrick then becomes one of your utility infielders.
We're thinking too small here. You trade for McCutchen. Then you package him and Herrera to L.A. for Trout.
I like where your head's at. If we're being realistic,
Yeah, but then
if we're being realistic,
then you give up a lot. Then you probably give up too much at that point.
I need an 18-win season out of Aaron Nola. I need him to be healthy, get himself right, get me 15 to 18 wins.
Yeah, if you're just joining us, we're going over a wish list. For
Holiday
the four
wish
major
list.
sports, a little holiday wish list, and so that's good. All good stuff for the Phillies. I mean, all good packages to open, and I don't disagree with any of them.
You?
Well, I said Batista to Sean, like Sean said, I've been dying to see the kids. At least Crawford. You don't have to give me Williams up, but at least give me Crawford, and let's start that process. And if you give me Batista or trade for like McCutchen, and then you have Crawford up, he's building around veterans. It's an easier transition than young kids. That's why I think it's so important for them to Howie Kendrick, good, but it's a good signing. Okay, blah blah blah. But you need to go get yourself a little bit of a stud here. And Batista's a great name for it. It really is. Or
It's more attractive.
McCutchen's even better. It's just more realistic that you can probably get Batista right now. I mean, unless because they're probably not trying to deal prospects,
Right?
Because they're building it out, so they can sign Batista, and it's in the right direction. 2-3 year Band-Aid. It is what it is.
See,
Maybe 2, and then you see what you have with your kids.
the thing with Phillies fans, and I think a lot of them,
I think we compete real quick.
right? But what I was going to say is, I think a lot of them.
Franco get it 42.
I don't know if I think it.
Tommy.
Maybe the patience factor.
back.
I mean, I don't know. But when I look at this right now, and I think to myself, by mid 2018, that's a year and a half. By mid 2018, you could be looking at a lineup legitimately of Jorge Alfaro behind the plate, Tommy Joseph at first, with Rhys Hoskins not far behind, Scott Kingery at second, J.P. Crawford at short, Maikel Franco at third, Dylan Cousins in left field, Roman Quinn in center, and Odubel Herrera in right. Or flip your corner outfielders, however you want. And this team, that team, they're going to rake.
I'm about to say they'll rake it.
They're going to rake. They're going to catch the ball. They're going to throw the ball. The biggest problem you're going to have at that point is you got 27 arms in the system. Can you find 5 of them that are going to go out and win games every day?
Yeah, very true.
And I think
Very
you
true.
already have your closer on the. I think that's Vince Velasquez.
Velasquez?
No, I've been.
He's been saying that for a year.
Well, probably before we even talked. I've been dying over Vince Velasquez being a closer. He's got closer stuff, and if you need to bring other kids up and make space, there it is. It really is. There's the perfect solution.
Well, Baseball
'Cause he
America,
give you
to
two.
your
He
point,
can give you 2, essentially, for being a
Yeah,
starter.
exactly.
I mean, Palbon did the same
he
thing.
could be Chapman. What
Yeah.
Chapman did for the Cubs.
Yeah, well, you see, Palbon made the transition early on in his career from a starter to a closer, and early on, he would give you. He's like one of the first guys to really go back then 2 innings.
Well, Smoltz did it when he first went
Smoltz
from
another
starter to closer.
Yeah, Smoltz is another one.
But to your guys' point, you said the Phillies are going to compete quick. Baseball America said this year they're going to be in it for a while.
Oh yeah.
And they said, but next year the Phillies are going to be legit contenders.
There it is.
And again, I would rather trade for McCutchen, but okay, if you want to sign Batista,
What are
fine.
you giving up, though? Yeah,
Yeah.
what are you giving? I got to know the details.
Yeah, I would have to get deep into that, but in terms of Batista, sure, why not? Because boom, then you're hoping Franco gives you 40. You get 45 from Batista. Tommy Joseph can hit you
25.
35. You would hope 30. So you're talking about hitting the ball out of the ballpark, and that's fun to me. Let's go.
Alfaro, too. Alfaro, too.
Let's go.
You know what? In all honesty, I would call the Angels, and I'd be like, there's 3 untouchables in our entire system: Moniak, Crawford, and Alfaro.
You're gonna have to give one.
Name any 6 beyond those 3.
So you would give up Franco as part of that, too?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be willing to listen.
Listen, you know who I give up? I say goodbye, right? I don't even care. I know.
Bro, what are you doing over here?
I don't know. I got to do something with my hands.
You take them and shove them up your wazoo.
Ron Burgundy.
With that
What do I do?
Here, you take the bat. Take the bat. You get the
It's a good thing we're not on TV.
You got the bottle crushing going on.
I
over
have
there.
to wear green on my arms.
I'm saying I would give Moniak for Trout.
You might be able to do that straight up.
That's what I'm doing. You're going to make the deal, then you play with the big boys because that's who they're going to want. And do I give them up? I know what Mike Trout is. You understand me? I'm a big believer. I don't know where Mickey Moniak is. I sure as hell fucking know, and that's where you drop the F at, who Mike Trout is. All right? So if I can get that
he is what we thought he is.
Yes, he is who we thought he is. Thought he was, whatever the fuck it is. But my point is,
he's a Triple Crown winner in the National League.
You go get him. That's how you give up. And maybe if you have to give up Moniak and maybe a B arm, okay. C arm, fine. Because you know who
See,
Trout
I would
is.
do that because it limits the amount of prospects you're giving up.
Yes,
If you give
I
up,
got a better chance to hit.
If you give up your number one, see, that's interesting. Because you do have a lot more leverage if you include Moniak because he's the number one overall pick.
Right now, and he hit.
And he's a Southern California kid.
Oh, coming home. Everybody's going home.
Right.
Everybody's going home.
Everybody's going home.
Everyone's going home.
So it's like a public relations wonderland.
Oh, my God. There's so many things to write about.
It's Christmas in June.
Both teams are selling tickets.
Oh,
Yup.
Uh-huh. I mean, the Phillies will sell out every game.
Interesting.
What do you think about that? Because that's who I give up. I go right at the source.
I never thought about Moniak, but now that you're right. Trout is still young, proven commodity. I'd do it.
See, the only thing that concerns
Mike,
me...
what's 27? Trout 27?
The only thing that concerns me about that is...
Trout 27?
27, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Moniak hit 231 in rookie ball. So, I'm sorry. Golf Coast League, he hit...
No, he was better than that.
284, I'm sorry.
Right.
So that's tradable for a kid. So and plus he's your one. Oh, you can do it. You can do
the only thing that concerns me about that is it's not giving up Moniak. It's the fact that the Angels right now have the worst farm system in Major League Baseball.
They're going to want two guys.
So they're going to want probably 4 or 5 guys if they're giving up Trout.
Yeah, but if you put Moniak in the deal, you can get away with
You might be able to get
three.
him down to
3, maybe 2, depending on the 2 you throw in. It's all about the 2 you throw in.
Right.
But if you throw a Moniak, you can go what a B.
Right, but does it just become a situation where even if you're willing to put Moniak in the deal, you're just not a good trade partner because you're not willing to give up the quantity, even though you're willing to give up the quality.
You're number one.
Yeah.
Well, then, if you think Moniak is who you thought he was too, all right, then you give up 5 or 6 other ones then, and you keep Moniak. But you're going to have to put either Crawford, Moniak, or Alfaro probably in that deal.
Not if you offer Franco.
That's true. That's a guy that showed he could do it on the MLB level.
I honestly,
McCann loves him, dude.
I know, but if
He loves him.
if I have a right-handed bat in the middle,
McCann going to be here?
if I have a right-handed bat,
Why not? What if you get Trout? He will.
He should be though.
Should be.
I commanded that team.
I like Pete McCann a lot.
If the right-handed bat in the middle of the lineup to replace Maikel Franco is Mike Trout, yeah, I'm giving up Maikel Franco. That's a no-brainer.
I agree with you.
I mean, I'm also trying to win now. Then
I might give up Aaron Nola too.
I'm more on Mike's. Alfaro and Crawford. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'm down. I like it.
Because I just been waiting too damn long to buy a Phillies jersey, and I'm waiting for Crawford to come up here before I buy one.
Nice.
Because the last jersey I had was Rollins. I'm keeping the shortstop tradition alive, and I'm damn sure not buying a Freddie Galvis jersey.
I love Crawford. So yeah, I would give Moniak and two B levels, maybe 3 B level guys. In terms of like the grading scale, I'm not going to give you all A's, babe. I'm giving you number 1 pick of the draft.
How about Moniak?
Go ahead.
Tommy Joseph. Because like you said, you got Hoskins.
They're going to want arms.
I was going to say they have depth at first base though, because Pujols between DH and first base, they have Pujols, they got C.J. Cron, and they got one other guy, and none of them are going anywhere. So it's not a position in need for them. It's not a bad idea, but it's gonna. If you want to get him from the Angels, it's got to be an outfielder, third baseman, or arms. Okay, they may not even want Alfaro because they don't need catchers. So, who knows? Yeah, Tommy definitely.
They want arms.
They want arms.
So
everybody wants arms.
Yeah, so you get Moniak and you go 3 arms. See, yeah. You got 5. You already got like 6 up. You know what I mean? So, I mean, what do you...
Ben Lively, thanks for stopping by. Zach Eflin, pack your bag
All
for
of
you.
them.
Jake Thompson, loved you, but you got to go.
See, listen, I'll empty it out. There's the cupboard. You can have anybody.
Give me the big fish. Literally, the big fish.
You can have anybody but Crawford.
It's trout season.
Crawford and Alfaro, and I'll give you anybody in my minor league system. Not my major league system. Anybody in my minor league. Moving on. Jumping. Can we just skip the fly?
I mean,
Yeah,
what do we
Flyers.
have to wish for, though?
Yeah, what do we have to wish for? They're playing good hockey.
Travis Konechny develops into a 30-goal scorer.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to go.
Claude Giroux develops into a 30-goal scorer.
I was going to say, Mike, really, that he continues to earn the C.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and all the things that come with the C. That's my wish, because I think that's something that's lacked over the years, that they gave him the C at a young age. And in hockey, it matters so much in the dressing room. You know what I mean? And I think he's a good dude, but it's all about leading.
You feel like he's earning it this year?
Yes.
I do.
Yes,
I do.
that's what I'm saying. So continue. That's my wish, is for him to continue the way he's played hockey and the way he's made players better. Because that's when you wear that C, that's what that demands.
Like
it demands it.
I still hammer him. I still call him Fraud Giroux. But this year, yeah, definitely.
I hammer him too.
Definitely playing
I'm
like
right with you.
Playing like he earned it.
But if you had the A on, maybe not as big a hammer. Make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll chime in a little bit for a wish list for the Flyers. I wish that Shane Gostisbehere would find his offensive game again, because he's just lost out there. You can tell he's frustrated, and he had an opportunity tonight to make it a 4-3 game, and he just didn't get his stick down on the ice. So, he's going through that rut, but when he comes back, it's going to be glorious.
It's the what do they call that? Turning the stick into sawdust? Yeah. Squeezing it a little too hard?
Yeah.
Sean?
Mine would be just this year alone, because that's the only thing in the city I have to look forward to right now. Steve Mason remains consistent. He's been so hit or miss since he's been with the team. But so far this year, especially over that 10-game stretch, he was playing some really good hockey. And I want him to remain consistent and don't fall off.
We have a great question on YouTube right now. I'm sorry, Sean. I didn't mean to.
Nah, you're good. I was pretty much done.
Didn't mean to cut your thought off. But this is a great question. Would you be shocked if out of nowhere, which I don't necessarily think it would be out of nowhere, but you suck. Too bad I got what it was. They just retracted the message. Nah. I'm going to go with it anyway. Sorry, Nafis. The message was, would you be shocked if out of nowhere, within the next 2 years, all 4 Philly teams won a championship?
No. I've been saying 2020 is going to be Philly's year of every team. That's been my target year for every single team, to be the city of champions.
Listen. I don't, I can't. I'd say I'll go up a year then. I'll say 2019. I don't think it needs to be that. I don't think we need the extra. Let's go. A lot of processes going on here for a long time. All right, and they need to fucking end. All right, I'm tired of losing.
Well, all right.
We are not City of Cleveland before LeBron came back.
In your
mind,
that's
not who we are.
In your mind, who's the furthest away right now today?
It's so tough to say. Try the Eagles.
How about to say, yeah, if I had to pinpoint it, I think every other team has you see the pieces. But I think the Eagles, the pieces that they're missing aren't even on the roster yet. The Phillies, you could say they're in the minor leagues.
Yeah.
The Flyers, you could see them. That team's young and playing well right now. And the
young.
Sixers are young, and you see the pieces in Embiid, Simmons, guys like that. But the Eagles, the guys that's going to take the team to the next level, aren't here yet.
When you got a guy like Pierre Maguire, whose lips are surgically implanted on Sidney Crosby's ass, say that the Flyers are destined to be an elite team within the next 2 years.
Yep.
To me, that means something.
Well, Mike, to your point, every team we've went through here, okay, 3 of them, besides the Eagles, all 3 of them, big-time experts in their games, in them fields, have all said watch out for A, B, and C. There's been at least one expert say watch out for the Sixers in 3 years. Watch out for the Phillies in 3 years. Watch out for the Flyers in 2 or 3 years. So that's good. When you're getting that much, but the only team that you don't hear, watch out for the Eagles in a few years, that's what you haven't heard. Maybe watch out for Carson Wentz, blah, blah, blah. But it's such a bigger game because you need pieces. You need more pieces on a 53-man roster. That's why it's tough.
But here's the thing. The Phillies, you want to talk about, great young core. Do they have it right now? Maybe not necessarily right now, but to your guys' point, you look at their minor league system, they could field a team opening day this year if they wanted to of guys that have never played a minute of Major League Baseball and compete. They could. Bottom line.
They're deep.
Sixers,
They're deep.
young core, Simmons, Sarek, Ilyasova, Noel, Embiid, with the other moving parts around them. Flyers, Gostisbehere, Konechny, Provorov, even guys like Simmons, Couturier, Giroux, they're not that old. Sean, to your point, if they get consistent goaltending, sky could be the limit for them. Eagles, Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
And
Jordan Hicks.
Yeah.
And maybe Fletcher Cox because he gets a lot of them.
And Jordan Hicks. I will say 3, but you need
yeah,
more.
but you're like,
3 out of 22 ain't gonna cut it.
And I'm reaching for something else, but it's not there right now. So,
in terms of young talent, yeah.
Draft could help, so could free agency.
Yeah, a lot can help. But, yeah, I think all 3 of them teams, they sort of have the pieces here or in their farm systems. But I know, something about the Phillies, I'll tell you this, and I know this for a fact. They're going to move guys who were low-level picks or undrafted guys through their farm system quicker than they're going to ever move top prospects. And that's a fact. That's a stone-cold fact. And that's just the way it is going to go right now because that's the way it's set up. Here's what it is.
Right, because
so you got a better chance because of money.
Right, because
that.
the kids they have a lot of money invested in, they're going to give them the time to grow and mature and learn the game.
Other guys, can you play or not?
Right, exactly. Can you play? Can you play or can't you? Exactly. That's just how it's going to be. So what do we got? 3 minutes left here? Yeah.
We still got our Eagles wish list, right?
Oh. Yeah. Go ahead, because we can run it a little. We can run for 2 more minutes if we have to.
All right. I'm going to make it real simple. Carson Wentz is my Santa. I feel like his offensive lineman, give me some weapons.
Dalvin Cook.
Well, that's a weapon. I'll take it.
That's my wish, Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook, and I need a corner. I need to address that big time. I need a physical corner. That's Dalvin Cook.
Trade back into the first round.
I'll tell you. I would love that. I'll tell you who's a sleeper though. It's going to be in the 3rd round. That's where I have been targeting the Eagles to get him. Can't pronounce his name, but he's the cornerback from Colorado. He's going to be a sleeper in this draft, and I honestly think the way he grades at the combine.
That guy from Colorado.
I don't like.
Can't pronounce his name.
I can't pronounce his name. It's long as hell. It's more complicated than Halapulavati Vaitai.
What's his first name?
You don't know.
Beats
Jim.
me. Yeah, Bill.
Jim.
Jim Bob Cooter.
But no, but I think
big old Jim Bob Cooter.
But I was actually talking to somebody about him earlier, and they said they think after his pro day and at the combine, they think he's going to move up into the 2nd because right now he's under the radar.
Really?
Well, there's so much to say. I mean, some of these guys that we're talking about first-round talent could easily drop out. Mm-hmm. And other guys move in after the combine.
Somebody who a lot of people are saying
shit.
might fall to the 2nd. I don't understand why.
Can I get
it's
one
Corey
more
Davis.
One more wish before we bail, Tommy?
Sure.
I want a video camera in Joel Embiid's hotel room the night after the NBA All-Star game because he's going to get a little Riri love.
You think it's going to be a little Rihanna up in there?
I do think it's going to be a little Rihanna up in there.
Singing them to sleep. Singing Baby JoJo to bed. Good night. We can talk. Like we said, Nova lost. 66-58 against Butler.
Not a bad loss.
18th team in the country. That kind of stuff happens.
Hollis
Thomas.
All right.
Thanks for stopping by.
Hollis Thompson, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Rocco, hopefully you're next out the door.
I'll make an attempt at you, Mike. Chidobe Awuzie. A Woozawee, whatever.
All right, I'm good with that. At least you give me the first name.
Oh, we just rocked it for 2 hours, boys. We got to thank everybody for chiming in on our YouTube and all our social media platforms. Always get involved with us here at hudradio.com. It's been a great show. Right? We got no other wishes. Do we?
Nope, I'm
No?
good.
Mr. Redden?
I'm good.
Mr. Poe?
I'm all good.
Real quick.
Dallas Cowboys Super Bowl.
On our way out. Because we can just run it. We're going to run it to 05, right, Rob? At the bed if we need to. Leave the music. I like it right now. Wrap up. Sean Redden. Who's your AFC, NFC? Who's going to the bowl? You don't have to. Yeah, you don't have to give me a prediction on who wins it yet, unless you want to.
All right, preseason, I had Seahawks, Patriots. I ride the hot hand now. Packers, Chiefs.
Riding the hot hand with the Packers, but I'm sticking with my original prediction, AFC, Steelers.
I'm KC'd up. I've been KC'd up. I love that football team. I'm taking them to win the whole damn thing. They're going to be my AFC finisher, and I'm going right with Mr. Redden. I'm going to go with the hot hand, the Green Bay Packers. Done. Mr. Pope?
Chiefs Cowboys.
Okay, let me say one more thing because we can't end on that Cowboys.
I tried to sing it in there.
But Falcons, watch. I mean, we talked about them being a better closer now. I mean, they got home field, and even if they, worst case, they'd have to go to Dallas. They're still in Dome, still in a good spot for them. So they're tough, and their defense, that's the only thing that scares you.
There's a couple of things. I mean, the Seahawks been there, done that.
Yeah.
And playoff Eli.
Yeah, playoff Eli. Giants defense is playing great, too. A lot of factors. Playoff football, baby.
This could be the NFC Championship game this weekend.
What I like about this year is that both sides, you could easily see 5 out of the 6 teams making the Super Bowl.
How pumped are you, though, for Saturday night? Little Brock Osweiler, Connor Cook quarterback matchup in the NFL playoffs.
That's the problem.
Sling City. Get your popcorn ready and get ready to go to bed.
Might be the first playoff game in NFL history to end 3-0. Seabass from 56 for the win.
At least Cook got some weapons to work with.
Tie in a playoff game. So, for Tom,
Mike,
AM,
in the PM,
HDRadio.com, Tom Renault, Michael Malcolm, Sean Redden, Rob Povey on the 1s and 2s. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, Gibson Mayer, LLC, Art Certified Public Account. Make them yours. Find them on the web, GibsonMayer.com. We're out. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Peace.